Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander. I appreciate you checking out my videos. If you wouldn't mind subscribing, I would really appreciate it. Trying to get my numbers up to something semi-respectable, as it were. Throw a few likes around the channel if you wouldn't mind. This is, I don't know. It's been a bit of a bad day, so I'm going to try and get my energy up, but the problem is, as you can see, we've had a bit of a downgrade. For some reason, my stupid laptop no longer recognized the webcam I was using, but it recognizes this one that was on my other computer. Unfortunately, this one does that whole stupid fisheye thing that I hate. So now you see way too much of the board, and it's curved. I don't like that. It looks dumb. It should be flat, straight. See the board state, and that's it. You shouldn't see all the other stuff out here and out there. You shouldn't see this. Anyway, I mean, it doesn't hurt things. It's just very upsetting to me because I've been working very hard to try and make my channel better and more not professional level per se, but just to make it better, a little less unskilled, if you will. So it was very frustrating. And plus, I was really excited to play these four decks, and I was all ready, and then I had to waste literally like almost 2 hours trying to figure out and check and test and run driver updates and all kinds of stuff. And this is what I ended up having to do. So as you can imagine, a bit frustrated, but we're going to plow ahead here. So I am excited to play these four decks. They are four brand new decks that I've built solely off of what I had, except for this one's Soldiers. This has been upgraded with cards that fit the theme better. But this is something I'm going to be trying to do with the channel in order to get some, keep the variety up because I can't afford to just constantly buy top tier cards and upgrade every single deck I make because they might not even be that great. And I can't upgrade 50 decks or 100 decks or something. But you guys need new content. You can't just keep seeing the same 25 decks over and over again in slightly different matchups. So the idea is whenever I find a commander that I think is cool, I'll build it off of what I have. Maybe go to my local game store and get some cheap commons and uncommons or something to upgrade as best I can off of, on for like $10, and then play them against themselves within their own sort of mini bracket. And then I have all of my good decks that have been upgraded and I enjoy and are different levels of better, up to things like Torwalkie and Childred that I have, and they will be their own bracket. And then as these decks get tested, and I'm like, oh, I really enjoy this one. Oh, this one was kind of boring to play with or without great cards. It just doesn't work. It gets destroyed, but then the other ones can get upgraded and get moved into the better bracket that can play against my friends. So then you'll see occasional mix-ups of the two sections, basically. That way I can hopefully keep the content fresh and you can see new commanders and new ideas, but I don't have to like break the bank on anything and constantly dump thousands and thousands of dollars into this for, the hobby. It's a casual game that I'm trying to play with my friends and hopefully raise money for charity at some point once I get if I get a lot of subscribers. But anyway, let's not waste too much time with the flapping of the mouth there. What we've got is, as I've said, four new decks. We've got Imodane, the Pyro Hammer. I will pull the cards up as they get actually played, but this is going to be very similar to my Torwalkie deck because it's all about direct damage. Only it's like the flip side of Torwalkie. So I'm kind of a little worried that she might actually be better than Torwalkie in the long run. But I'll still keep Torwalkie because I love the deck and I enjoy how I built it. But I'm going to kind of build this similar if I start to upgrade it. But again, it's all direct damage. Over here, this is going to be really fun. I've been really looking forward to this. It actually was a different commander until I realized I was using the commander wrong. It didn't work the way I thought it did. Luckily, I never actually played it against anybody and had someone say, Brian, that's not how that works, and just be super embarrassed. I figured it out beforehand and shifted gears over to Irietta, the Charmed Apple from the Wilds of Eldraine newer set. That's going to be a very lockdown commander damage deck. Then over here, we've got the Secret Lair version of Tessia Karlov. I really don't know how this one's going to work, and I doubt it's going to work well, especially in the beginning. It's She just makes triggered abilities of dying creatures trigger extra time. So it's a bunch of creatures that do stuff when they die, but it's not synergized real well. So it's not like it's the best creatures that it's like just this one. If this one dies, each opponent takes a damage, and if this one dies, you draw a card, and it's like There's no direct win con, so I'm not really sure how that one's going to win, honestly. And then we have my soldier deck, which is actually part of the good bracket, but it's just about dumping a ton of soldiers and swinging for straight combat damage, hitting all of your opponents, ideally in the air. So let's go ahead and get started. I already rolled the dice, as you can see. Charmed Apple Arietta is gonna go first. So we'll draw for turn, play a Broker's Hideout. I will search for. I'm trying to remember. I'm going to search for planes. Comes in tapped because I want to. Because the bulk of this deck is white cards. There's not too many black cards, but I need black obviously for the commander, and I can't like. But you got to have enough swamps in the deck so that you can consistently play the commander on turn. 3 properly. But I didn't want to have. And I already got a bunch of swamps in my hand. There's no one drops or anything, so we're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Well, so this is gonna be a really weird turn one. We're gonna play a swamp. We're gonna tap it for a dark ritual, add 3 black mana to your mana pool, and then I use that 3 black mana to play a chromatic lantern. So part of the problem also with these decks is that I didn't get a chance to really shuffle them really well because I was going to do that instead of, spending an hour and a half to 2 hours messing with the cameras. So I just shuffled them quickly together. So there's going to be like this only had a couple lands, and one of them is Temple of the False Gods, which everyone hates. I like, but this early in the game it is kind of useless. So I was like, you know what? We're going to get that Chromatic Lantern down as fast as we can just to do some stuff. But we will pass. Oh, and I think this one has, the sound on this camera is not as good either. So I think I might be a little tingy, metallic in my sound. So again, it's disheartening that I have to like take a half step back on the quality of this video. I am probably going to finish the matches. So this is match 1 of these decks. I will probably finish match 2 and 3 tomorrow night, but then I won't film any new episodes until I can get a better camera and get the system back up to where it should be. Which is okay because it takes me a long time to edit these videos because editing is kind of boring, guys. Not sure if you guys knew that, but it's very, very boring. And so I kind of procrastinate and drag my feet, so it takes me, longer to edit each video than it should. But anyway, we're coming over here. We're going to draw a card for turn. I will play a Path of Ancestry, comes in tapped, and we will pass. Draw over here. Going to play a Mountain for turn. And I know you can see that I don't normally actually have my hands laid out like this on its own all 4 of them. You can't see those ones. But the reason I'm doing that is because these penny sleeves stick together really, really bad. And so I was like, it was hard when I was trying to move quickly. Normally, like these sleeves are fine, so I'll just have them combat. Normally you can see them on the table, but I realized, a good way to combat these sticking together for the penny sleeves is to just have them laid out in each side. Since it's just me, I don't have to worry about someone seeing the hand. But we play our 1 land, and we will pass. Untap over here, draw, play a swamp, and then I will tap both for Griffin Airy. Airy. It's an enchantment, beautiful new Wilds of Eldraine foil. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 white griffin creature token with fly. So this deck doesn't have a lot of creatures, so I have like 3 or 4 token generators in it to try and help get stuff out on the ground to block with, while I can try and get Arietta herself like ramped up with all kinds of aura enchantments and swing in for commander damage. We will pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's not a land, but that's okay. We'll play the Temple of the False Gods, but it's not going to be online for quite some time. We are going to tap white and black to play Cruel Celebrant. So whenever Cruel Celebrant or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I hope you guys can hear me. I tested the audio and it sounded a little tingy, but I'm hoping that it stays consistent, at least in terms of picking up the volume the entire time. That's all we can do. We're going to pass. The joys of being a content creator, as I tend to be, that I have to deal with all these weird things, and it's like, I don't know how the audio sounds until I'm done, so it could be like an hour and a half game, and then I play it back to edit it and find out that the entire thing is garbled or garbaged, and then it's like, well, cool, now that was just a complete waste. I mean, playing the games are fun. At least there's that. And this is the part I enjoy. I would play mock games like this all day long. Just play them and test the cards and figure out ways to make them better, and and get better at remembering my triggers and just learning and stuff. But I would have such a giant stockpile, and that would take up a lot of data, by the way, for like hard drives and stuff. And then it would just be too daunting to try and start editing, so I have to do them in little batches. Draw for turn over here. I will play a mirrored landscape. Comes in tapped. But I can tap for one. Path of Ancestries. You tap it, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. When the mana is spent to cast a creature that shares a type with your commander, you scry one. I'm going to tap it for Spectrum Sentinel, which is a artifact creature soldier. So I will get to scry one. I will put that on the bottom for now. Whatever. It has protection from multicolor. It's a 1/2, and whenever a non-basic land enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, you gain a life. That I'm probably going to forget until I come back around every time, but we'll see if we can maybe remember. This, of course, shouldn't really have many, if any, non-basics. Those two are and they're both just black and white, so we're not going to get too many. Plus, it's a matter of what I had as well, so that probably won't trigger much anyway. But we're going to pass. At least we have a creature on. Untap, upkeep, draw over here. Play a mountain. We really kind of need some artifacts over here to ramp with. Unfortunately, we're not getting them. We're not getting really anything else to use as well. And she's a 4-drop, so that's why you need like at least one mana rock in the first 3 turns so that you can get her out guaranteed on turn 4, but also like maybe get her out on turn 3, but whatever. Pass the turnage. We're gonna untap. We're gonna upkeep. We're gonna draw. I'm going to play another Plains for turn. I will tap all 3 and play Irieta of the Charmed Apple. She's a 2/4 human warlock. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura you control can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. Very cool. So as you can imagine, this is meant to have a lot of auras out. We'll see if we get there, and hopefully over the next couple of games we'll get to see some cool stuff. Because I really am excited for this one. I really hope it works well because it'll be really fun against my friends. You'll see hopefully soon. But it's just supposed to lock the board down in a way that I haven't seen when you look these cards up on things like Moxfield or whatever, and you can see everyone posts their deck list and stuff. I haven't seen people do it this way that I built it, which is fun. That probably means it's the bad way of doing it, but hey, whatever, we'll see. We're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. Land. Not a land. That is unfortunate. But we still can play something. We're gonna tap for a white to play Crawling Chorus. It's a 1/1 with Toxic 1. When Crawling Chorus dies, create a 1/1 colorless might. Creature token with Toxic 1, and this creature can't block. So we've got a 1/2 on the field. They've got a 1/2, 2/4, nothing. No one's the threat, but I guess we'll go for first blood and swing a 1 at you. Boom, you took a damage. Oh my gosh, you will taste my fiery wrath. Perhaps. That's all we can do, so we'll pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play an island for turn, and then I'm going to actually tap 2 and sacrifice Mirrored Landscape to go get 2 basic lands that share a land type. Well, I guess it's going to have to be white because I don't actually have white in my hand. So Plains and Plains. I really love Mirrored Landscape, especially in an early game like this, within the first like 3-4 turns, because it's just a great way to ramp and also deck thin super early and fix any kind of mana colors you might have a problem. I'm not going to want to swing with this because I won't have a blocker like they did, so we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. We're going to play a mountain. We don't have any creatures, and we can't play her yet, so that's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play another swamp. Now let's see if we have the ability to start doing some fun stuff. Okay, well, not the main theme of the deck just yet, but we're going to tap 4 for Ashiok's Reaper, a 3/3. Whenever an enchantment you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. If you've watched some of the prior episodes, especially the Precon Wars, which I'm quite proud of and just enjoyed that concept, and we'll look forward to doing that again a few times in the future, at least once a year, maybe twice a year, with the different precons that come out. there's the whole aspect of control and ownership that I myself am trying to get a better grasp on. And part of the reason why I couldn't use the other commander that I wanted to use is because the way the wording was, it didn't work. So for her, if I put a aura on this creature, whatever it is, I can buff it. I can, because she says anything that's attached, anything that has an aura you control can't attack you. So I could buff this creature so that they can send it elsewhere, but they can't send it at me. I still own that aura, even though it's on your board state and it's on your creature. I control it. I control it. Because you have to have something that says passing control. You need, like, there's many cards that say target player gains control, or a lot of the thief cards where it's like gain control of target creature until end of turn. So you control that. Whereas I'm not given, there's nothing about the auras that say giving control. It just says enchant target creature. So you're enchanting it, but I still control it and I own the aura. So the fun part is like placing those auras out there, and then at my end step, I gain life. But I certainly hope I'm doing that right. Again, let me know in the comments, especially when it gets going, if you see what I'm talking about and it becomes more obvious and easier to explain. And you're like, Brian, you are completely messing that up. Then please tell me because I don't want to look the fool, although I will, and it'll be on the internet for the world to see. But I don't want to look the fool in front of my friends when I'm playing. I could attack with my commander and I could go there. Again, if you watch the channel at all, you know I hate dogpiling unnecessarily in real games. Period. Like period. I don't. There's no. They haven't done anything. They got their one hit. There's no reason. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to swing out. We'll just pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Swamp. Haha. It's a land at least. So we're going to tap 1, 2, 3 to play the command sphere I have, so that next turn we can play the command. This person's going to be a jerk and hit you again for 1. Simply because that's 1 damage and no one else hit them, so it's like it's okay. It's like, yeah, all right, I'm just going to ping you one more time. Just so that I'm doing something in the game. And they're like, all right, fine, whatever. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play another island. Yes, I believe we have enough, so we will, well, I suppose that's how it works. We'll tap that for a blue and a white to play the commander. Harbin, Vanguard, Aviator, 3/2 flyer. Whenever you attack with 5 or more soldiers, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. I use Path of Ancestry to cast it, and it shares a type with itself, so I get to scry one. I will go ahead and move that to the bottom. Then I still have 3 left, so I will tap that 3 to play Herald's Horn, declaring soldiers as the type. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 less to cast. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Put this there. Remember, I have an upkeep trigger. And now I can attack with this guy because, let's see, non-basic lands, no, no, no. Save didn't even matter. I can swing with him. I can swing there. It's one of those things. It's like, well, you know what? We're going to swing that direction to put the pressure on you. You're just going to take it because, of course, you are. It's 1 damage. That's the point. So there we go, getting a little damage going, and then we will pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Cool. It's a land. We needed that at least. We're going to tap all 4 and play the commander over here. Imodane, the Pyro Hammer. A 4/4 for 4 mana, which right off the bat is pretty on par, pretty good. But it's her ability that makes her extremely dangerous. Whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control that targets only a single creature deals damage to that creature, Imodane deals that much damage to each opponent. That's why I think she's probably going to end up being better than Torwaki in the long run, because he hits every time you cast an instant or sorcery, as long as it's targeting one creature, as long as it resolves, she's hitting every single opponent. Whereas Torwaki, he'll hit one opponent for 2 damage every time you cast an instant or sorcery, and you gain 2 life, which is great. But in order for him to start really doing, for the deck to do real damage, you have to have a bunch of other creatures out that also do damage whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, because he buffs that damage as well. So then it's like, oh, and then Torwaki's deck is all target instants and sorceries that can hit players, whereas Imodane is all about hitting the creatures and indirectly hitting the players. So it's a cool, 2 sides to the same coin kind of mentality. So I think it's fun. Looking forward to seeing how this one plays out in the next 3 games. We'll pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. I will play another Plains. Oh, well, that works out very well. We will tap 2 mana and put the enchantment aura Morgul Knife Wound onto your Imodane. Enchanted creature gets -3/-0 and has, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile this creature unless you pay 2. So that's your upkeep trigger. So now it is a 1/4. Not that that deck is actually going to go to combat, but we don't, this player doesn't know that per se. Because, first time they're facing it, all they're doing is playing their commander. It's like, oh, they're going to go swing. I still have 3 mana left, so I will go ahead and tap that. Nope, can't. Don't have the right colors. Yeah, so unfortunately we're just going to have to stop there. But we move to our end step, and each opponent is going to lose 1 life, and I'm going to gain 1 life, where that's the number of auras I control, which is currently 1. It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a really fun deck. Not always going to win, as no deck always wins, but I think it's going to be a consistently fun deck. You're probably going to, like, once people know what it does, my friends will probably target me as soon as I start to play it because, like, oh, that crap, we're not letting you do this, but we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn, not a land, suboptimal. We will, however, tap all 4 to play the final commander of the group, Hesya Karlov. It's a 2/4. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink. So that means whenever a creature dying would trigger one of my abilities. So that there are creatures in here, of course, that say if any creature dies, gain a life or deal damage or something like that. So if their creature dies, it triggers my ability. It would now trigger twice. I do have 2 creatures, but everyone's got some blockers now and starting to get going, so there's no real point in swinging just yet. We're gonna pass. Untap, upkeep trigger. We're gonna look, see if it's a soldier. I don't think that counts. It's our adaptive automaton. When it enters the battlefield, chooses creature type. So it is currently not a soldier yet, so it doesn't work. So I draw that for turn. I'm gonna play a Maze of Ith that I always forget to use. This doesn't tap for any real actual mana. Just tap it to untap target attacking creature and prevent combat damage that will be dealt to and dealt by that creature this turn. So it's a nice little like, oh, don't swing at me, don't swing at me type of thing. But we're going to go ahead and okay, so well again, it won't become a soldier until it hits the battlefield. We're going to tap 2 and play. Wait, nope, sorry. Read your cards before you start playing all kinds of stuff. We're going to tap 2, play an arcane signet. I'm then going to tap a blue and a white because they cost 1 less to play Daxos Melentis, a 2/2. He can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater, and whenever Daxos deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to that card's converted mana cost, and until end of turn, you may cast that card and you may spend mana as though it were mana any color. My God, can they put more words on these cards? But anyway, there you go. Let's see. I did use Path of Ancestry to cast him, so I get to scry. I'm going to leave that there for faux show, as it were. Non-basics. Nope, okay. I only have 2 mana left, and they do cost 1 less, but again, as I've said multiple times already, that adaptive thing is not a soldier until it hits the battlefield, so it doesn't get the buff. And it is 3 costs to play. But I do have a 3/2 flying commander. Who feels like the biggest threat? Now, we have to assume that the players don't know the other players' decks other than what they've been told. Like, oh, I'm about combat damage. I'm about Imodane's indirect damage. She's going to be about enchantment auras that clearly lock other people down, regardless of what they are. Most people are going to assume that they're going to be like, oh, you're going to buff my guy, but I can't use it against you, so I have to attack somebody else. Sure, okay. I have to figure out some other way to deal with you. This one is going to be dying triggers, so and now that the commander's out, we could send someone on the bus, but it's flying. Blah. Sorry, I'm just talking through my process in an attempt to figure out what to do, but also as a means to help you guys know how. Because when you watch other content creators that do Magic, they're normally playing with other players because that's fun. It's about the gathering, right? So, but they're not going to tell their plans. They're like, okay, I'm going to play this thing, and that's it, pass. And then there's joking banter, which is fun to listen to, but you never know what people are thinking and why they're doing the things they're doing. With me, because it's just me and 4 players, I kind of can do that. I can show you what I'm thinking and how I play Whether that's good or bad is yet to be seen, of course. But like, I can show you my method, and then you can be like, oh, I understand why he did that. I would do the same way. Or, man, that's stupid. Why did he think that? I would never do that. That kind of stuff. And again, my channel is about me getting better at building these decks and playing them so that I can compete with my friends on a better level. So it's not necessarily about, being all crazy good. But I have been showing up on some other creators' channels. If you've noticed, a few of them. Shout out to Chaotic Commander and Dad Jokes and Cardboard. I should be coming up on a couple other people's soon, so that's gonna be fun. But anyway, we're gonna swing. We're gonna swing at you in the air. 3 commander damage. Oops, no, the other way. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Because since it's in the air, you can't block it. I don't have to worry about killing your things and triggering your abilities. We're going to go ahead and pass turn. And as always, this is the first of 3 matches, so this is obviously going to be the longest one because I'm flapping my mouth and talking more, and I'm trying to get a feel for the decks. I do have an upkeep trigger. I can exile this creature unless I pay 2 life. Well, I just got her out, so I'm going to pay 2 this time to keep her. Draw a card. Oh, that's a crazy dangerous one. Right, but what kind of shenanigans can we do now that we have 4 mana and our commander out? You know what? I just want to do this one, so we're going to start out with tapping 4 to play Fiery Confluence. You can choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. I'm going to choose Fiery Confluence deals 2 damage to each opponent, so it's going to end up dealing 6 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing happens with her things because it's not targeting a creature. There, screw you guys. Leave me alone. All we can do, we're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Okay, I'm going to play a swamp for turn. Well, this is going to slow me down in terms of doing the other stuff. Wait. Play your mana properly. Tapping 3 to play Console of Allocations. A 2/3. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life, and this one gains 2 life. That's going to really hurt them over there if they start dropping a lot of instants and sorceries, and probably just them, really. But I'm also going to tap 2 black and 1 other to... Nope, can't do that. Gosh darn it. Read your cards. It's a creature that can also be a bestowed aura, and I need 1 more mana to do that. Well, that's really all we can do. Nothing's gone to the graveyard. Moving to our end step, we're going to, once again, gain 1 life, and each opponent is going to lose 1 life, because that's the number of enchantments we have control of. Pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Not a land. Suboptimal. Slapping 2 to play Doomed Dissenter. Whenever Doomed Dissenter dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Use a 1/1. I have 2 mana up, can't do anything with it. Yeah, nothing to really do. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep trigger. Is it a soldier? It is. We left it there because we scried. It's Loxodon Gatekeeper. We're going to put it in our hand and then draw for turn. I will then play a swamp for turn. Tapping 1, 2, and 3 to play Adaptive Automaton, or whatever you want to call it. Automaton. I don't know why I can't say that word properly. Autoton. Yeah, alright, whatever. The 2/2, I'm choose a creature type, choosing soldiers. It comes in as the chosen type in addition to its other types. Other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. That's cool. Then I'm going to tap 1, 2, 3 because they cost 1 less to play Loxodon Gatekeeper. It's a 2/3. Artifacts, creatures, and lands your opponent's control come into play tapped. That's going to be really hard to remember, but we need to try. And when I say we, I of course mean me. Right, so let's see, what did I do? I tapped these 2 and that. I played the Automaton. Yeah, so I get to scry 1 off of Loxodon. We're going to put that on the bottom. It's just a land. We're going to move to combat. Now everything's getting a buff of +1/+1. He can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater, but no one really has anything of 3 or greater except that. So everyone kind of can block him, unfortunately. We're just going to go ahead and send the flyer at you again. See, again, no one's really the threat except for me. So we're going to send 4 commander damage in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I was kind of worried this might happen because, like I said, I did upgrade soldiers quite a bit, whereas these have not, so I'm worried soldiers are going to pull away real fast all the time. That will be unfortunate, and I apologize because this has been a long time planning because, as I said, it takes a long time to edit and do videos, and even just a match of three, that's 3 weeks because I put these out on Mondays. So it takes a while before I need more episodes. So I was like, I built this, upgraded a bunch to play with my friends. It's done well against my friends. And then I finally made these other ones, and I was like, well, this is the newest deck I have that you guys haven't seen yet. But yeah, it's probably going to be, unfortunately, he might pull away. I don't know. We will pass turn, though. There's no end steps. I got to remember about everything coming in tap, though. Upkeep trigger. I will take 2 more damage because I need to start using that ability of hers, and I don't want to recast her because I didn't draw a land right now. So we're gonna tap 2 mana, and we're gonna play Shredded Sails. Choose one. Destroy target artifact, or Shredded Sails deals 4 damage to target creature with flying. I'm gonna deal 4 damage to your commander. Now I believe this still counts because whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell you control that targets only a single creature, I'm worried about that wording. Because with Magic, that kind of crap is like super hyper meticulous. So the fact that it says only a single creature, because you're like, yeah, single creature isn't only. What else could you mean? Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this won't count because it can do something else. I did some research real quick, and I think that works. It's a little. I still want you to let me know in the comments if I'm getting it wrong. Okay, but I looked it up, and the only thing I could see, I couldn't find the rules relating to the specific cards. But a bunch of other decks with her as the commander also have it, so either we're all wrong, which is a possibility, or it's okay. Because once I choose what the instant does, it's only targeting one creature, you know. So that's all it was. But anyway, Shredded Sails deals 4 damage to target creature with flying. I'm going to deal 4 damage to that. It's going to die, cost 2 more to recast, and then because the spell connected, Imodane is going to deal 4 damage to each opponent. Now, I'm also going to tap these two, and I am going to deal. Oh, first of all, because of him, I lose 2 life, and you. Oops, nope. You gain 2. So because of that, I'm going to tap 2 and Lightning Strike your combo. But I still cast it, so I'm going to lose 2, and you're going to gain 2, which is unfortunate. Then it's going to Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to target creature or player. But I went and researched it again. Apparently, Lightning Strike has been errated. Like the verbiage has been changed a little bit in the more modern cards, where it just says Lightning Strike deals 3 damage to any target. This older one says to target creature or player, so it's fine. So we're going to deal 3 damage to that. It dies. And then Imodane is going to deal 3 damage to each opponent. So you can see how powerful she is. That's all I can do, however. I'm going to go ahead and pass turn. Now imagine once I get some damage doublers out there, boom, you can wipe the board real fast. I'm going to untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Wow, I'm not getting any of the really good stuff. That's unfortunate. So we'll go ahead and tap 4 and bestow Night Howler onto Arietta. Night Howler and the enchanted creature get +X/+X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. Well, that's probably not the best one to do right now, huh? Well, that's not really going to help much either anyway. So yeah, okay. I think there's only, because that went to the command zone, so there's only the one. Okay, so she's only getting +1/+1 right now. Obviously, that's a better enchantment for mid game, but that's all we can do. Past, I go to move to end step. It's going to deal 1. We're going to gain 1 life, and it's going to deal 1 damage to everybody else. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. Hey, it's finally land. It's still not a freaking plains. We'll go ahead and tap 3 to play Blister Grub, a 2/2. It says it has Swamp Walk, which is cool because that could be used against you over here. And whenever it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life. Oh, and I forgot, I don't really need plains because Chromatic Land Chain, which is fine, doesn't it? Wasn't super important. Oh, that's true. Lands you control have tapped one. Oh my gosh, Temple of the False Gods does work right now. Darn it. Oh well. So I have 3 mana. Is there anything I can do with 3 mana? Nothing of importance. So we're gonna go ahead and pass. I mean, we could swing everybody over there. I mean, she did deal. Actually, that's not a horrible idea. They are currently just a 1/4, thanks to the buff aura or negative aura, whatever we call it. So if I swung with everything, yeah, that's not a bad idea. We're gonna do that. We're gonna swing all three at you. It's a 1/1, a 1/2, and a 1/1. No matter who you block, you're gonna kill it, but it's gonna trigger things, and you know that. And you have the most life. Well, actually, you don't. But I think you'd gamble and go ahead and take 1, 2, 3 because you don't want to start helping your deck do what it's supposed to do. We're gonna pass, untap. Upkeep trigger is still in effect. It is not a soldier, so we will draw it for turn. The nice thing about, as I've talked about before, having a super cheap commander means it's really easy to get it back out on the field. So we will tap 1, 2, 3, 4 and recast Harbin Vanguard Aviator. I still have 3 mana open, so I will tap 2 of it. I guess I should have did the thing in Scribe, but who cares? Tapping 2, well, I could save this, but it's fine. It's a adventure, but we're just gonna go straight to Horn of Valhalla. Not you. Equipping Harbin. So equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is now a 5/5. Oh, I forgot this comes in tapped. The land I played comes in tapped. However, we now realize that we could have tapped that, and we have these, so the mana's fine there. What is it? Lands, creatures, and artifacts. That didn't have anything. That didn't have anything. So we missed it, but it wasn't super impactful, so that's good. We can go to combat. Everything is getting a little bit of a buff. Okay, so now this is a 3/4, 3/5, and a 3/3. So we can actually send Daxos at you so that you take. Now, do I want to send it anywhere else? Really, these are the only ones I'm concerned with. So I will send these two at you. The 3/4, and a 3/3. It doesn't matter which one you block. You block the elephant. You only deal 1 damage to it. Neither one of them die, but 3 damage. 1, 2, 3 gets through from him. You take. Did I take the 2 already? I don't think I did. 1, 2. And then, I hope I didn't. And then his ability resolves. So we exile a top card of their library, and I gain life equal to the land. Oh, it's not. I gain 3 life. Cool. 1, 2, 3. And I can play its Ghostly Prison. That's actually pretty good. But I don't have. Let's see here. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. Well, I don't have the mana to cast it, so it'll just stay in exile. But that was a pretty solid turn. We're going to go ahead and pass. I gotta remember I have Mace of Ith if someone attacks me. Untap, upkeep. I will take 2 because clearly Imodane is important. We need her on the battlefield. And I still haven't gotten any more lands, and I still have not gotten any more lands. We're going to tap 1, 2, and 3 to play Heated Debate. This spell can't be countered. Heated Debate deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So what do we want to blast? So here's the thing: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can on their next turn, his ability can trigger, and he can send everybody in the air, and they all get a buff. Their little ping is annoying, but it's not. It's hurt me quite a bit, but it's still not something I need to concern myself with just yet. I think we're gonna once again have to go for you. Right. So it's actually, and I missed that last time, but it still blew it up. So it's 3/2. So 4. Oh no! Wait a second. I can't. Right, because this is getting a giant buff. +1/+1 for each creature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a 9/8. So there's no way the 4 damage is going to work on that. I could blow up that. That's giving it a little bit of a buff, but at that point, the difference between 8 and 9 commander damage is relatively unimportant. That is a 3/5 with the tiny buff it has, so we can't even shoot that. But this is buffing all of them. So yes, we will blast this with 4 damage. It dies. Everyone's going to take 4 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then with my last mana, I'm going to cast Torch the Tower. Deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. I hope that still counts because see, I'm going to have to look that one up too. So we'll just do shock instead. Deals 2 damage to any target. 2 damage to this thing. Because, no, 2 damage to Daxos. Because, why not? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See, she's doing, like, the work in here. It's just that, now the good news is now he can't trigger that ability, so that was probably the best move on the board state right now. That's all we can do. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Wow, this is crazy. We're just getting the good cards for her. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4 to enchant creature with Angelic Destiny. She now gets +4/+4 and has flying and first strike and is an angel in addition to the types. When the enchanted creature dies, return Angelic Destiny to its owner's hand. So we don't even lose that. Currently, let's see. So now this has gone up a little bit, right? 1, 2, 3. So 3, 4, 5. So she's 9 commander damage in the air. Not bad. Although, oh, and we blew up some of his stuff, so he is smaller in the air because he is now a 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's only a 6, 5. So yes, we are sending 9 commander damage. Was it 9? 3, 4, 5. Yes, 9 commander in the air at you. You're at 21. You can't take it. And they're at 26, so it'll be a lot harder for you to do it. And you do have enough mana to recast the commander one more time, but you wouldn't be able to do too much else. And this would still be here to just swing at you again. See, this is the kind of tricky stuff where it's like, well, what do you do? I don't have anything crazy good in my hand for next turn, so I would still be basically top decking. Okay, and that thing says artifacts, creatures, and lands. I didn't play a land, and that's an enchantment, so it doesn't come in tapped because it's an enchantment aura. What would that matter? I'm gonna let it go through. It's a bad choice, but one. Oops, wait a second. Gotta do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, down to 12. I'm surprised. I mean, that's good. I'm glad that Soldiers isn't running away with the game right off the bat because it was looking like it for a couple seconds there. That's all they can do. They have no other end step triggers or anything. We're going to pass. No, wait, they do have an end step trigger for number of auras you control, which actually I think I missed this last game or last turn. So 1, 2, 3. So everyone's going to lose 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I gained that much life. I'm pretty sure everybody should be down 1 extra life because at my end step last turn, she had that on her, and that counts. I forgot about it. But it's fine. We forgot about it. Let's move on. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's funny. She's doing fantastic, even though you're not seeing the second half. Hey, the plains, and now Temple of the False Gods is online. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, we could do that. It would slow the game down, but we're at 7 life. It's the smart thing to do. And the tasty way to do it. Now, I don't know. Well, really, at this point, all it takes is for Imodane to have 1 or 2 decent spells go off, and we're dead. And then and then she can just swing in the air and kill her. So if this character over here board wipes, which is what we can do, and it benefits us. So yeah, I think we should. We're gonna go ahead and tap 2 black, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Ingaruk's Wake. Destroy creatures and planeswalkers you don't control. Let's see. This is going to go back to the command zone. Cost 2 more. Now, the question is, Asiok's Reaper is going to see 3 auras go to the graveyard, and I should be able to draw 3 cards, but I'm not sure if it sees it at this fast enough, because it costs 6 to play, which is unfortunate. Might as well blocked with it. And she now costs an extra 2. So I'm really not 100% sure how that works. So all of the creatures die, go to the graveyard, and as they're leaving, the auras should leave the battlefield as well. So I think it sees them. So we're going to take a chance. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to draw 3 cards, which is at least something. Now, the good thing is we still have combat, and now we have an open board. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not enough to kill anybody. We could send it all there because most likely, I mean, they have a lot of mana, so they could. Yeah, it's a whole thing about like, what do we do? What do we do? I guess we're just gonna try that. We're gonna send all of it at you for 7 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I know 2 of its commander. We're not going to bother worrying about that right now. And then pass turn. Because the concept from over there is, yeah, it's like this is what you really have to worry about, but you still have, like, let's get to the point where we can focus on them. So if we blast them, theoretically they can only have enough mana to cast 1 or 2 creatures or recast their commander or whatever. So you can swing a bunch of creatures in and get through for that last 2 damage, and then send the rest of the creatures at whoever else doesn't get something out. You know? So untap, we still have this trigger where we can see if it's a it is not, so we draw a Rogue's Passage. We'll play the Rogue's Passage. So that means the only thing we can do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to recast Harbin. And we did Path of Ancestry for it, so we scry again. Yeah, I guess I'll leave that. And we will pass. Oh, I keep forgetting, it does cost 1 less because of Herald's Horn, even with the commander tax, so we'll untap Rogue's Passage. Now, the problem is we cannot recast Imodane, even if we get a land, which we did. Hilarious. We'll tap that. Yeah, you know what? It's not going to help, and it's going to hurt us more than anybody, or just as much, but we'll go ahead and play Heartless Hidetsugu. It's a 4/3 Ogre Shaman. It says tap him, and he deals damage to each player equal to half that player's life total rounded down. I've had this card forever, and I've wanted to put it in the deck, but it hits all players, including you. So it's always been like a little intimidating because you have to have theoretically you got to have more life than everybody else in order to make it even viably useful. But I think in Imodane it might come in handy because not in this game for sure, but if you can maybe get it out and get to your upkeep while it's still high life totals, and you have Imodane out, and then well, it depends. You need a lot of mana. You need the mana ramp, Imodane and him out. Tap him, everybody, including yourself, goes down to half life, and then you fire off like 1 or 2 really big spells that target a creature. Everybody's dead, and you still have like 10 life or 8 life or whatever. But it's also just kind of a threat because you're like, dude, you come at me, we're all taking the hit. So we're going to pass. I would have preferred not to show that card just yet, but it's like, well, I need something out. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Oh, cool. Idyllic range comes in tapped unless you control 3 other planes, which I do. I think, under the circumstances, we know they've got a lot of creatures, so we're going to try and go for volume first. I'm going to tap 2 and play Transcendent Envoy. It's a 1/2 flyer. Aura spells cost 1 less to cast, so that's really important for this deck. I'll then tap 1, 2, 3, 4 and play Cliffhaven Vampire, a 2/4 flyer. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Would have been good whenever she was still out and gaining off of the auras, but that's fine. Oh yeah, I forgot about gaining life. But I don't think, well, beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life. I did gain 3 life that 1 turn before, so I should have had a Griffin out, but I think it would have got board wiped anyway. So while we missed it, it didn't affect the game again. So it's just, once more, gotta pay attention to your cards. Just because it's not a creature, you gotta listen, look at what you're doing. But that's all we can do right now. We're gonna pass. Untap upkeep over here. Now, what can you do? Okay, you can play a plains, apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play Black Market. Whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market. Obviously, that would have been better before the board wipe, but all it does is at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add a black for each charge counter on Black Market. And I really didn't have a ton of creatures to play anyway, or anything to play, so it's fine. I'm actually going to sack Command Spear, draw a card to try and figure out something else to do. Ooh, okay, let's try that. Yes. We're going to tap for 2 black and 2 more, 1 floating. Play Deadly Dispute. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Who do I want to sacrifice? Oh, excellent. I'm going to sacrifice Blister Grub. So he's going to deal. Each opponent loses 2 life, but because of my commander, that's going to happen twice. So boom, sorry, you're dead. 1, 2, da-doom. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Kaboosh, you are dead, soldiers. First one out, and you were the most powerful deck in the group. Amusing. But also, Cruel Celebrant, or another creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And she says if a dying creature triggers an ability of a permanent you control, it does it a second time. So they're all going to lose another 2, and I'm going to gain 2. And then this will finally resolve, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. So 1, 2. You know what? That works out perfectly because I still have, well, no, it's 1 colorless, unfortunately. But, and that's pre-combat main phase, so it doesn't really matter, but let's say the word but a million times. All right, this now has 1 charge counter on it. I have a treasure token, which we'll just say that's treasure. I'm not going to bother drawing it. So that could only be tapped for 1 mana. I have the 1 colorless, but unfortunately the 2-drop I drew is a black and a white, so I would need another color. So it won't quite work perfectly, but that's fine. That was a really good play by us. I like that. We're going to pass. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Should be a mountain. It's not. Okay. I was just assuming it was a mountain because I went so long without getting them, and I just figured it wasn't shuffled well enough. Tapping 1/2 for Herbor Flamesmith. So 2/1, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, he deals 1 damage to each opponent. Synergy with Imodane. I have 3 mana left. I don't know that that's really important. And see, now part of the problem is, of course, because she's not out, the instants and sorceries are meant to target creatures, so I can't just throw something at somebody's face like I could in Torwaki. I mean, some of them say any target, but I don't have any of those right now. We're just to play it. We're gonna go ahead and tap 3 for Blood Moon or Blood Sun. Oh, I do draw a card, which is awesome, and I don't need that marker anymore. All lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. So that really doesn't affect anything on the board except for mana Maze of Ith, but it's not on the board anymore because they are the DEDs. I could, but I mean it's not. It's just gonna put me at 5. That's not a good idea. We're gonna pass. But you can bet your bottom dollar if these guys come swinging in at me, I'm definitely gonna fire it off. Or if they're gonna move to combat or do something that's like in response, I'm gonna have everybody's life total. Untap, upkeep, draw. It's no covered planes. Doesn't help me much. But okay, let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to recast area of the Charmed Appelé. I still have 3 mana left. Can I do anything with 3 mana? Regrettably, not really. We're going to tap 1, 2, 3 for a Spectral Searchlight, and choose a player. Tap it to choose a player. That player adds 1 mana of any color they choose. So obviously, you can mainly do it for yourself. But that's it. So we have a flyer. We actually have 2 flyers, and we do have the most health. And I'm not overly scared about that thing. It's cool, but because we have drastically more health, it'll only hurt them more. Okay, so whenever you gain life, each opponent. No. All right, so we're gonna send both of these. That's 3 damage in the air. Nothing special, but we're gonna send it at you. 1, 2, 3. Nothing else we can do. Regrettably, I didn't gain any life. Nothing triggers. We're gonna pass. Untap. Upkeep. Draw for turn. Play a swamp. So now I will tap a plains and a swamp to do what I wanted to do last turn. To play Feast of Victorious Dead. At the beginning of your end step, if 1 or more creatures died this turn, you gain that much life and distribute that many +1/+1 counters among creatures you control. Pretty solid. Then we'll tap 1, 2, 3, and 4. Play the creature Necrosquito. So it comes in with 2 oils counters on it, which basically makes it a 2/2 because it gets a +1/+1 for each oil counter. And whenever another creature or artifact you control is put into the graveyard, put an oil counter on Necrosquito. And it is flying. I have 3 mana. Actually, I have 4 mana. It might be a dumb idea to play it now, but we're going to go ahead and use the treasure plus 2 more to play Break Ties. Choose 1, destroy target artifact, destroy enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. Reinforce 1, you can pay 1 and discard this card to do something else. I'm going to destroy an enchantment or an artifact. I don't know which one yet. Something over here. I think we'll get rid of the Griffin or Airy. Just because, it hasn't triggered yet, but, well, it should have, but whatever. I just don't want them to start making a bunch of Griffins in the air. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures that can attack. You only have 1 blocker. However, we obviously don't want to send. You can't kill our commander. So yeah, I guess we might as well send everything. We are at 6 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they can't technically kill us. You know what? Go for it. Take the gamble, right? We're going to swing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage at you. I guess we should swing it there because it's, if they get Imodane and a decent spell out, they can kill us, but whatever. We want them to come down lower so that becomes a threat. So as I said, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 damage. If you block any of them other than her, something cool happens. But like I said, I will. I'll block the commander with the commander. They're both 2/4s. Nothing happens to them. And then you take 3 damage. 1, 2, 3. No interesting triggers of any kind. Nothing died at the beginning of my end step. Nothing died for that. Yep. We're going to pass. I don't know. I mean, considering everything that's happened, the decks have done pretty well, based on what they are. Built out of those scraps I had. Untap, upkeep, draw. Still not a land, so I can't recast her. That sucks. Okay, we're going to go for broke. This is a crazy play. And it would never work in my actual play groups because everyone's got so much removal and answers that we wouldn't even get to this point, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and tap Heartless to make everybody have their, and thankfully it's even, so it's easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're down to 10, and you're down to 3. Next, I'm going to tap 1 to play Force the Tower, 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. We'll target that thing. On cast, it's going to deal Airborne Flamesmith. It's going to deal 1 damage to each opponent. Boom, boom. Oops. And then it's going to deal 2 damage to this. It's going to die. We are not sacrificing anything for the bargaining cost. Oh, if a target that would get hit by this dies, exile it instead. Not too big of a deal, but whatever. Then I'm going to tap 1 to play Ranger's Firebrand. Deals 2 damage to any target. The ring tempts you. So I'm going to target you, and then the ring tempts me, which I'll have to worry about in a minute. But on cast, it's going to deal a damage to each of you. So that triggered, yeah, they took the damage, and then it's going to deal 2 damage to you. 1, 2, you're dead. And then the ring tempts me. I don't remember exactly. I have to get the thing. I think the ring just, I can make a legendary creature, and it's a ring bearer, so we'll say he's the ring bearer. But, sorry, wait a second. That's on the stack. I apologize. Let's do this right. So I'm targeting you for 2 damage. The cast trigger resolves. While that's still in the stack, I'm going to tap 3 to flash in Dualcaster Mage. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I'm going to target you. So technically, I guess the ring would tempt me twice and it would go to the second thing. But anyway, so the copy will resolve first. It does not get cast, so it doesn't trigger that. But you'll take 2 damage. The ring tempts me. He becomes the ring bearer. Then this resolves. You take 2 damage and die. The next stage of the ring bearer thing happens. I don't remember what it is. We'll have to enter the battlefield first to trigger all that. So there you go. This is a tight last minute game. I like this. So then we're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Oh no. I really thought Imodane was going to pull out a fun win because I'm like, oh yeah, they've only got 2 things and they're like the 1 flyer, but it's only 2 damage and I can block and stuff. And it's like, nope, I forgot what I had in my hand over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to enchant area with Mantle of the Ancients. When Mantle of the Ancients enters the battlefield, return any number of target auras or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. We really only have the one that we need to bring back because I don't think the bestow creature counts. Yeah, because it's a enchantment creature horror. It doesn't say anything about aura, and the other aura is the negative one. But we're gonna equip Angelic Destiny, so now it has flying first strike 4/4, and so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna move to combat in the air. We'll swing all of it for 10 damage. Boom, kaboosh! You are dead. Wow, that was fun. I mean, for me, I hope it was fun for you guys watching. Again, you're playing with real friend groups. These decks aren't going to do as well as they did because there's going to be a lot more interaction. I don't really build my decks with a ton of interaction. I try to put at least 9 or 10 answers into a deck. Board wipes, Swords to Plowshares, or whatever. And I think the Swords to Plowshare stuff are in these 2 white decks for sure, and that one. Those are Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile are just givens. I do always put them in my white decks. And you saw the board wipes over here. Past that, and I try to put a couple different artifacts slash enchantment exile cards, but that really is the extent of it. I mean, you saw that as well, break class. So I guess I do, but trust me, I have a friend group that, as we talked about many times before, everything they do is just, oh, you're gonna do that, I'm gonna bounce it, I'm gonna remove it, counter it, blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like one thing on the field. So it can be a tad frustrating, as you may imagine. But my point simply being, this won't be how they would perform in the wild, as it were, at perhaps command fests if I go to them and take these kind of decks. I wouldn't take these because they need upgraded and before they're ready for real people. I might play them with some friends on occasion, but for this test run matchup, I'm really pleased. We're gonna try two more times. Hopefully, you'll get to see more cards and more interactions and what they do. There you go. But the enchantment deck pulled it out at the very last minute with some cool synergy. All right. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for watching, and especially if you watched till the end. I will see you next time.